I have felt so many different sensations in my life. I have felt excruciating pain. I felt burning pain. I felt tingling pain. I felt, so many different categories of pain, but this one is something I've never felt before, really. Hi guys, it's me, Paige here, and this is my second week here in the hospital. Now, this week has actually been really eventful, starting off with radiation day. Now, how radiation day went is that essentially, the first thing they did is that they took me into another hospital where they measured me to ensure that they would blast me with the right amount of radiation during the actual procedure. I had to stay still for up to 2 hours in the same position, and it was really hard for me to do, as the room was really cold, my body started cramping, and I just really had an unpleasant and uncomfortable experience. However, the hospital staff did everything they could to help me. They gave me warm blankets, and they encouraged me through the loudspeakers as it was going on. But afterwards, I was a bit shaken up by the whole experience, but I got the Ring of Victory bell showing that I was done and finished with radiation day. Now, what radiation day was supposed to do was supposed to blast me with the radiation because they wanted to completely wipe out my immune system to its absolute zero for the next day, the big important day itself, transplant day. Or, as I like to call it, rebirth day. So how transplant day started is that early in the morning, they took my dad downstairs so that he can get put on anesthesia because so they could take out his bone marrow. After they did that, like a few hours later, he came upstairs. He was really groggy and he was in lots of pain because he had previous back pain due to issues he had. But he still was able to help out even while the nurses weren't here, and I have to owe him a great gratitude for donating the bone marrow to me. But after that, a few hours later, the nurses came into the room with my new bone marrow, and they essentially just used it the same way how like an IV drip would work. They started it at 4:18 p.m., happened to be the month and day that my mom was born. And the time when the procedure ended just so happened to also be the month, day, and year that I was born too. And the whole procedure took place in October, which was my dad's half birthday. So that really was showing that this seemed to be like a sign from God, really showing that this was a rebirth day of sorts, that it had my mom's birthday, my dad's birthday, and my birthday all coming together in this one special day where I got this new body. After that, well, really were something I like to call the infusion days. So basically, after the bone marrow transplants, the doctors and nurses have to monitor something inside my body known as ANC, which is basically just my blood count. And what they're looking for is for my blood count to lower down to 0. And once that happens, that essentially means that my immune system is at 0 and that my blood count is at 0. Then my dad's bone marrow, now being inside my body, can actually start doing its work and starting to raise my blood count again, but instead of being my old blood count, it will be my new blood count from the new bone marrow. And from that blood count rising, so will my new immune system and my new body will as well. The chemotherapy, they said that that one of the side effects would be that I would have a lesser appetite, and because of that, they would have to put a feeding tube through my nose and down my throat. When the day came when they had to put it in, I was expecting it to feel like like a nose swab, but just 10 times worse. And well, I never expected to get as traumatized as I did from the tube. The nose swab only goes so far out of the nose. This tube, it went all the way in. It went all the way in and went to the back of my sinuses and went down my throat. I could feel it going down my throat, and I have felt so many different categories of pain, but this one is something I've never felt before, really. But even though it might be so excruciating, even though all these processes might be so difficult and hard, really, if it wasn't for my impossible faith in God, I wouldn't even be here right now. You know, I probably would have died of sickle cell crisis issues years ago. I would have died years ago if it wasn't for God, you know. If I didn't have this faith, you know, we wouldn't have the money to buy this procedure. We wouldn't have the time. We'd probably be living in some ghetto neighborhood, you know. We would be neglected in society. No one would even notice this. And really, I know that God is using me. He's using my life as an example, really. I know the reason why I'm going through so many difficult things, the reason why I'm going through so much hardship is because, well, God is going to use me to show everyone in the world that it isn't hard, that it isn't difficult to follow through and to go through this kind of stuff, you know? And that really, it's not impossible to follow your dreams, that it's not impossible to change the world, but all you need is just a little push, just need some help, you just need some motivation, and that's what my life serves as. And really, I just gotta thank God every day, you know, because the thing is, I'm still alive, I'm still living, so what's there to complain about? But with all that being said, hope all of you enjoyed this video, hope all of you enjoyed my message, and, well, hope all of you have great, blessed lives. Like and subscribe too, don't forget that.